Hey everyone, and welcome to Learn and Speak English. I'm Marco, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
And I'm Maria. It's a pleasure to join Marco on this phonetic journey. Today we're going to talk about a topic that, let's be honest, has given many of us a headache when learning English. How can we improve our command of the English language?
Absolutely, Maria. I remember my first attempts. I sounded more like an invented dialect than actual English. My phrase, I live in a ship, turned into I live in a sheep because I couldn't differentiate the vowels. Imagine the confusion.
Exactly. It's super common, Marco. For Spanish speakers, there are sounds in English that simply don't exist in Spanish. And it's not just about the R or the TH, right?
Precisely. Often when we start learning English, we get obsessed with the vocabulary and grammar, and pronunciation gets a bit neglected. But it's a huge mistake.
Yes, because pronunciation isn't just about sounding nice. It's fundamental for mutual understanding. If you mispronounce, people don't understand you, and you can't understand native speakers either. It's a two-way street.
I see it a lot in my classes. Someone might know 1,000 words, but if they pronounce them incomprehensibly, it's like not knowing them at all. And the worst part is it creates a lot of insecurity in the student.
Absolutely. That frustration of not being understood or being asked to repeat yourself several times can demotivate anyone. Good pronunciation gives you confidence.
And it also helps us listen better. When you know the sounds of English, your brain recognizes them more easily when you hear them. It's like learning to play an instrument. At first, you just hear noise, then you distinguish the notes and chords.
My number one tip is active listening and imitation. Don't just listen to English. Imitate it. Repeat phrases, words, even intonations you like from your favorite shows or podcasts.
That's key. I used to record myself. At first, it feels weird to hear yourself, but it's the best way to identify your own mistakes. You can record yourself saying a word or phrase and then compare it to a native speaker's.
And don't be afraid to exaggerate at first. For the TH, stick your tongue out more than usual. For the vowels, make your mouth bigger or smaller than you normally would. This helps your muscles get used to it.
Using the International Phonetic Alphabet, although it might seem intimidating, is an incredible tool. You don't need to be an expert, but knowing the symbols for the sounds you struggle with gives you a very clear reference in dictionaries.
Yes. Many online dictionaries give you the IPA pronunciation and also the audio. So you can see the symbol and hear the sound. For me, the SIC sound in she or wash was confusing at first, but seeing the symbol and practicing it in isolation really helped.
Another extremely important thing is rhythm and intonation. English isn't a flat language like Spanish. There are stressed words, syllables that are stretched out, and the melody of the sentence changes depending on the intention.
Exactly. It's not just about pronouncing each sound well, but connecting the words and giving them the correct intonation. For example, in a question, the tone usually goes up at the end, right? Are you coming? In a statement, it goes down. I'm coming.
That's another thing we struggle with. We tend to say all sentences with the same melody as in Spanish.
And a trick that helped me a lot is using minimal pairs. These are pairs of words that differ by only one sound. Like the examples we gave, ship and sheep, or pen and pan. Practicing them helps you train your ear and your mouth to differentiate those subtle sounds.
And what about resources? Besides dictionaries, what else would you recommend?
There are tons of apps and websites specifically dedicated to pronunciation. YouTube channels from English teachers who explain each sound in detail. And of course, this podcast.
Of course. Also, don't underestimate the power of songs and movies. Singing helps with intonation and rhythm, and watching movies with English subtitles, at first, allows you to associate the sound with the spelling.
And one last tip. Be patient with yourself. Improving pronunciation is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a process that requires repetition, observation, and a lot of practice. Don't get frustrated if it's not perfect on the first try.
Yes, consistency is key. Better 10 minutes of pronunciation practice a day than an hour a week. Small doses, but constant.
And most importantly, have fun. Explore the sounds, play with your mouth, laugh at your mistakes. Learning is more effective when it's enjoyable.